What I want you guys to get out of this is just the basic idea of being able to look at a move and begin the process of being able to analyze it. And the truth is, you're not really going to be able to do that right away. It's something that you're going to have to develop over time. But this introduces the idea to you and gives you at least the methodology. That doesn't mean the fact that you've got the methodology doesn't mean that you're going to get the right answer or even a right answer. But it does point you in the right direction, and slowly over time you can begin to understand.
Mm.
So when you look at a, a move like this, right? Wow, there's a lot of stuff going on. How do you look at that and see anything other than chaos? Right? You have to have some tools to look at it and go, well, one thing we've done is talk about the three kinds of circles. So you should be able to look at that and go, okay, he was doing a shoe circle there, and then he was doing a ping circle. So that gives you something. Um, Another thing you can look at is where a person's weight is.
Mm-hmm.
Is the weight going forward? Is it going on this side? Is it here? Is it here? Is it here? Right? And this is another tool, which is okay. I know that that move is composed of yin and yang cycles with possibly some transitions here and there. So, can I look at this and understand where the yin and yang cycles are? Because if you can do that, now you've got something that can really help you map the move out so that you understand what the move is without me having to be there to tell you. Because
Well,
ultimately you're going to have to do it yourself, right? So,
well, I hope not. I mean, the I'm the the first two items you mentioned,
uh-huh.
yes, I
Yes.
can definitely, when I look over and over the videos, I can definitely now see them. I mean, it's not like that obvious for me, but definitely I can do that. The yin and yang cycles, I'm sorry, I am like, I don't get them until you point them to me.
It's a higher level of analysis. It requires a lot more experience, which is why I say, although we're introducing it now, you're going to have to develop it over time. Everyone does, right? It's like
It's
no
not,
one just gets it and then they have it, right? You have to work on it. But take that move I just did. There's a yin and yang cycle right at the beginning. It's always going to be two things: winding up and hitting. It's that simple.
wow.
Then the question is, when you watch someone, where are they winding up and where are they hitting? And the truth is, it's not always easy to tell.
It's always difficult for me. It's always difficult.
Yeah.
Maybe I practice only maybe 45 minutes, an hour a day. And I think this is not enough to get it.
When I was at your stage, well, for the first 2 years, I didn't practice outside of class at all. I was a really bad student. And then I said to myself, what are you doing? If you're going to do this, do it. Right? So then I tried to figure out how I could, where I could practice and how I could practice. And what I ended up doing is joining a gym at the university. You know, in San Francisco, there's the big medical university. At that time, it's different now, but at that time, they had a big student union with a big gym, and they had dance studios with mirrors, and it was beautiful, and nobody used it. There were no classes during the day, there was nothing. So I just got a membership for like $35 a year, and I would go up and use the dance studios every morning for 2 hours. Now, I don't know that you could even do that now because I think they have classes and stuff now, so they're all booked. But at that time, it was possible. Um, but having the mirrors and having a big place where I could actually work out, and it was quiet, and there were no other people and no music, and I really could work out. And
So just by yourself, you were able to just like understand what was going on. Because my problem is that by myself, I can, I mean, I watch videos of the classes all the time and slow movement, and I mean, but some things you said, if you don't say them, I don't get them.
that's exactly what it was like for me too. Don't forget, I've been doing this for 30 years.
Yeah.
And so what you're getting from me is a condensed version of 30 years. But if you were to go back to the first 10 years when I was practicing, wow, there was a lot of confusion, a lot of things I didn't know, I didn't understand. Um, so I would go up and practice, but that doesn't mean my practice was at the top level. It was kind of more down here, right? But that's what it takes. If you're really doing an hour a day of practice, that's excellent. That's
But
really
this is not
good.
enough. It's obvious this is not enough. No, really, Malcolm. I mean, this.
Yes, I know what you feel like. Yes, I did. I did. I'll tell you what I did, and I did this for 12 years. I would go up to the university every morning during the week. So Monday through Friday. Well, not every morning. Sometimes I would have to miss a morning, but usually I was up there for 2 to 3 hours, usually about 2.5 hours. And then I did 2 private lessons every week with Master John. Each
Oh,
lesson was 2 hours long.
oh,
And
okay.
and I did 3 classes a week with him. Each class was 3 hours long.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So now I get it. If I, if I had to all of that, I'm sure that I would see myself improve. But right now, I'm feeling that I'm just like staying at the. You said yesterday with this new student, Catherine is level 2. No, no, no. Catherine is not level 2. Catherine is just level 1 plus. This is it.
Listen, you are farther along than you know you are. I've taught many, many, many people. I can look at somebody and tell them right where they are. You know more than you know you know. It's right now. It's where you are. It's like if you plant a garden in the spring, just when the plant comes up out of the ground, that's where you are. You're just at the
Okay.
beginning. But you've done it's a good job. It's a good beginning, honestly, really. I mean it. I told Annie yesterday, the 2 students that are doing best are Catherine and Susan, right? And I meant it. You guys are doing very well.
Mm.
But the development of a garden, you can't make it grow faster than it's going to grow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it's the same with this.
Mm.
Now, you're right that if you do more practice, it will grow a little faster. But there are limits to that too. I know people, you won't believe this, but I know people who practice 8 hours a day. They actually go slower. It's too much. You
Yeah,
shouldn't
but
practice
between
8
an
hours.
hour and 8 hours, there is a lot of room here.
Well, you know, an hour or two a day is excellent. And for where you're at right now, an hour a day is perfect. It's fine, honestly.
Mm.
So don't be, I'll tell you one thing, seriously. I'm absolutely serious about this. Don't push it. Don't push your chi. Don't push your learning curve because it always backfires.
Okay.
It has to grow naturally. It should be comfortable. It should be fun. You should be pleased with your progress because it's
I
very
just saw
good.
myself yesterday and I was like, ah, this is so bad.
Well, that's part of the learning
I
process.
was like floating in the air, nothing grounded, no, no chi anywhere.
This is a true story. Many years ago, Annie and I went over to a friend's house in Concord. So I'm not in San Francisco, but on the other side of the bay. And we were there all day. And I went. They had some tennis courts there, and I went to one of the tennis courts to practice. And after a while, Annie came out to watch me, and she watched me for a little while. And I don't know whether I asked her or she said something, but she said about my Tai Chi, you're floating. You're floating. You're not touching the ground. Well, I weighed, at that time probably 220 pounds. So I'm touching the ground, but not really touching the ground. And that was 6 years of practice, and I was still floating. To
Okay.
get grounded usually takes most people 10 to 15 years.
I'll be so old, Malcolm. I won't be able to move.
Well, you might be surprised. I watched a video yesterday of a woman who's 97 years old, and she goes to the gym every day and works out on the parallel bars.
Oh, wow.
Uh,
Okay.
she is absolutely amazing. And
Everything is possible.
if you look at her face, she's got some wrinkles and she looks like she's in her 90s. But you look at her body and she looks like she's 40 years old. It's
Great.
amazing. And the video she did this video, and this was like 6 or 7 rules to stay young even though you're getting older.
Okay.
And 2 or 3 of the rules was exercise, 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 right? I've mentioned this before, but Master Feng said if you really want to get Tai Chi, it's going to take you 99 lifetimes.
Oh, I see.
I
Okay.
don't think he was kidding. I think he really believes that.
Okay.
You know, you,
Reassuring in a way.
remember, so what you do in this life is going to carry forward, right?
Okay.
So
I like that.
you just keep working on it, and next life when you start, you'll be that much ahead, right? Think of someone like Mozart. How the hell did Mozart do what Mozart did? He was writing concertos at age 5.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that he just started. I think he came in with experience from past lives. Right? I'm kind of a Buddhist, so I believe in, right, that
Mhm.
we exist in ways that we don't really understand.
Okay.
So what you do in this life carries forward,
Great. I like that idea.
right? And so whatever you learn is absolutely worthwhile. Right?
Okay. Great.
Okay, so to get back to this particular thing, what you need to focus on is just a very simple idea. Winding up and hitting, right? just like baseball. Wind up, hit. All right? Or in Tai Chi, wind up, hit. Wind up, hit. Wind up, hit. Wind up, hit. Boom. Very simple. Now, the question is, can you figure out what is winding up and what is hitting? And the truth is, it's a little ambiguous. It doesn't matter how experienced you are. You could be super, super experienced. It's still a little ambiguous because the ambiguity is built into the form. It's not because I'm not smart enough or you're not smart enough. The ambiguity is in the form itself, because the form is really about training your body with a language. But what you use that language to say or to write can be almost anything. So it's a little ambiguous. It could be this, could be this, could be this. Well, how do you decide? Well, you make a decision. Just like in the arts, when you're doing a watercolor and you want to put a ground down, is the ground tan? Is it blue? Is it red? Well, it could be any of those. You make a creative decision. So a lot of what I'm talking about, yeah, it could be this way, or it could be this way, or it could be this way. But you have to figure out what it is you want to do as an artist. So this move we're going to work on today. All right, there's one. Sync. This one is more subtle than a lot of them. Watch the white dot. That's the movement. Wind up, hit. Wind up, hit. That's the way I'm doing it. But it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. This whole movement could be wind up, and that's the hit. All right? I'm doing it wind up and hit, wind up and hit. So I'm doing 2 cycles in that section. But you could make a case for that just being 1. Absolutely. You could make a case for that being 3. So it's not like there's an absolutely right way and you have to know what it is. It's not that so much as you have to be able to feel in yourself what it is you want to do and make an informed, creative decision. So in this movement, I'm just going to tell you what I'm doing. All right? Wind up, hit. 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 That's what I do. But somebody else could come up with quite a different take on the move that would be absolutely legitimate. I could come up with a different one. But that's one that works, all right? That works for me. It has a nice rhythm. A rhythm that works. Does this make sense?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So why don't you, out loud, go through your own thinking process and let me listen how you would divide up this move.
Well, the thing is that at this point of my technique, I can't be creative. I have I just have to look at you and do the same, because I think you can be creative only once you master the technique, and I don't yet.
Think about this. What you just described is a good way to learn. It's a very important way to learn. And if you're going to watch me and learn from me, what you should be watching is this.
Yes.
When I used to train with Master John, he didn't wear a white thing, right? But I knew kind of instinctually that I needed to watch his belly. So sure, I mean, I saw his hands and the rest of his body, but what I was really watching was this. But the other students weren't. The other students were watching his hands because they're so flashy. Watch the hands. But this is the engine.
Yeah.
I don't really care what the wheels are doing. I want to know what the engine's doing. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So watch this. But that's not the only way to learn, and you're going to have to learn this other way. I personally think it's a lot of fun. I think it's the way you're describing, you're watching me do what I'm doing. That's learning from outside. That's legitimate. You have to do it. It's important, but it's not the only way to learn. There's also learning from inside. Now, how do you learn from inside? Well, first of all, you have to know the moves, kinda. You know, you're not an expert on them, but you at least kinda understand the move, right? So you do your best to. I'm just going to leave this on. You do your best to do the move the right way, and then you watch yourself inside, because the real teacher of the form is the form itself. Right? If you know, right? If you just think, well, I go like that, that's not good enough. What you have to understand is you sink first and then you go out. Right? You sink into the red stripe. You sink and then pop up. Sink. 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 That's a cycle. Yin, yang. Yin, yang. Yin, yang. Oh, well, you can discover that just by watching yourself. How do you know to do that? Well, you pay attention to me. You learn the outer choreography of the move as well as you can. It isn't going to be perfect, but it's a process that goes on, and it's going to go on for years and years and years. In fact, it's going to go on the rest of your life as long as you do this, right? So you watch and you realize, oh, he's not doing this. He's doing this. When you know that, you've got something. That's just the outer choreography. Now you look for the inner choreography. All right. Wind up, hit. Now you've got a piece of the pie. Yeah. Now you've got a piece of the pie. And I'll tell you that when you do this, you learn through the whole form. You're not going to get everything. You're only going to get bits and pieces. Maybe move number 3 and move number 7 and move number 18 and move number 23. Those are the ones you're going to get, and the rest of it's going to just be confusing. But you're going to have, oh, I think I get this one, and I think I get this one. And then what happens is, as you practice, you'll start to get more. you'll start to understand, oh, this move is like that move, so I'm going to apply my understanding of this move to that move, and slowly it starts to grow. It's this way for everybody, absolutely everybody. My master, Master Zhang, told us a story. He was practicing with Master Feng, and he practiced with him for 12 years. And he was practicing probably 4 hours a day, as well as doing classes and private lessons. It took him 12 years to get the right energy. He was so, on the day it happened, he was so excited, he ran across town to Master Feng's house and said, this happened. And Master Feng said, congratulations. It only took you 12 years, just very fast. All right? It takes a while to get good at this. I suspect that what happened now, he was doing, I'm talking about something a little different than what we're talking about here. I think what happened for him is his chi dropped to his dantian. So it's a little higher level thing. But it doesn't happen overnight. Master Zhang was very, very good at Tai Chi, all right? And he worked really hard every day, and it took him 12 years. So even people that are really good at this, it takes time. So one of the things you can look at is when you're winding up, you'll always drop into the qua.
I think that during the Tai Chi classes, you should always wear those stripes, and because it helps. It does help.
I agree. I agree. I agree. But think about this. Every time you wind up, you're going to sink into this part of the body and then into the ground. And then you're going to come back up to hit. So that's a big clue, both for watching me and for watching yourself. If I'm a baseball player, watch the red stripes. All right? Oh, I drop into that, and then bam, I come up again. It's exactly what you do in Tai Chi. All right? So watch the red stripes. Sink, come up. 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 It's not the only thing that can give you a clue, but it's maybe the major thing. Mm-hmm. Think about the first movement in the form. Watch. Sink, come up, 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 sink, come up. It's just yin and yang, yin and yang, yin and yang, all the way through. So your process won't be perfect at first. It might take you 5 years to get really good at this.
That's fine.
But that's okay. What else have you got to do? Right? When you when you bound your first book, was it perfect?
It was awful.
Yeah. But you have to start somewhere, right? And you go along and you go along and they get better and better and better, and finally you're an expert.
Not sure about
Same
that,
thing.
but I'm better. Yeah.
And you know, for me, the process, the process of learning and getting creative at this is just a lot of fun. You know, some people start something like bookbinding, which is an art, it's a science, it's a craft, it's all those things. But they start it, and of course, the first one they do is going to be awful. And they get discouraged and they quit. Most people quit Tai Chi.
Really?
They do a little bit, it's, you know, it's too hard, I don't understand, etc., and they quit. Which is a shame, because if they just kept going, they would eventually get it.
I will never quit. I mean, that's for sure. But
I can tell. That's why I think you're a good student. Right? All right. So just, you know, get in front of a mirror,
mm,
do a move as well as you know how to do it, and look for the places that you wind up and the places where you hit. Just look and see what you see.
okay.
All right. All right. That took the whole hour. All right.
Thank
So
you.
we'll look at it again next week.
Thank you.
Ciao.